Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second SecLock.com webinar. Today is focused on SecLock.com searching and buying. My name is Dan Zapula. I'm the Senior Web Content Manager here at Security Lock Distributors, and I'd like to welcome you to our world headquarters here in Westwood, Massachusetts. So today, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the search engine on SecLock.com, how we can get to an item, whether or not we have an item number that we're looking for, and we'll go over the product page itself, and we'll go over the process of adding an item to the cart, and we'll go through the checkout process too. If you didn't join us for our first webinar, on the last one we covered kind of an overview of seclock.com. So that was everything that we'll cover today at a much higher level. We talked about our support tools, the account section, and educational section as well. If you would like to view that webinar, we have it on demand on our YouTube channel, and we also have links out to that on seclock.com as well. So please feel free to check that out. Also, we want you to interact with us during this webinar today. So if you look at the window over there to my right, you will see a chat window. So anytime during this webinar, you can ask questions, and we have a team of folks here that will try to answer them in real time. In addition, we'll answer a few at the end of the webinar live on screen for you today. If we can't get to your question here today, we will email you out within a day or two as soon as we have an answer for you. But there might be an influx of questions, and we'll get to as many as we can. So with that being said, let's dive right in. And the first thing that we want to cover today is the seclock.com search engine. So let me blow up this window for you, and we'll get right to it. And so the first thing that people go to, the first thing I go to when I'm looking for an item, is this magnifying glass right up here. Now this is where you open the search engine panel. So this is where you can either enter an item number, a keyword, whatever it is that you want to look for. This is where you go. You can also browse by product category here, and you can also browse by manufacturer down here. But let's go to the keyword panel up here, and let's explore what the search engine can do for you and a couple of different ways that it functions. So first, let's type in an item number. So let's go with an LCN door closer. So we're going to go with the 4040 XP. And you'll see if I type in that item prefix, there's a lot of items that load here. So you're seeing dozens and dozens of results that come up because there's a lot of items that contain this key phrase right here, 4040 XP. It's an item with many, many variants on it. So if we go ahead and type something a little more specific, and we start to flesh out that item number, we're starting to drill down a little more, but there's still just a bunch of stuff here. So let's keep going a little more, and let's type in AL at the end. Again, a bunch of results here. So what do we do when we have an exact item number that we're looking for, but we're still getting a bunch of results, and we may not immediately see the exact item that we came here to find? That's where this function comes in right here. So this is called the exact match function. And when we toggle this button right here, it tells the search engine to not only find this phrase here, but it's going to tell it to find items that only contain exactly this phrase here. So that means the exact term that you typed in, including spaces, any types of characters, anything like that. So when we take this phrase here, the 4040 XPRWPAAL, and we flip on the exact match function here, watch what happens to the results as the button is clicked. So that automatically goes down to 3 results here, because these are the only 3 items on the site that contain this exact phrase. Now if we undo this, you'll see it go back here, and you'll show a lot of items here that are related to it. So take this item number, for example. This has 4040XPRW/PA, but it ends with RHUS4, which is not exactly what we typed in here. It's related, it's close, it's what a normal search engine would return when you type that in, but it's not the exact thing that we typed in. So if we want to narrow that by what we're exactly looking for, that's where that exact match function comes in. Now, this is really useful if you do know the exact item number that you're looking for, and you don't just know a family or a series or part of the item number or something like that. If you only know part of the item number, then the exact match function probably won't help you too much, because it's only going to return exactly what you type in, and you don't know exactly what you're looking for yet. However, if you do have that exact item number, this thing is really going to be your best friend, and it's going to take you exactly to what you're looking for. So let's try another example here. So I'm going to switch this off. And we're going to X this out. We'll go back in. So we've refreshed completely. And to do that, you can also click this little refresh button here, but just for the purposes of this demo, I'll reset the whole window. So let's type in another item number. So let's start with 8888F. Now again, this is a very popular prefix from Sargent. This is going to bring up a lot of exit devices. So when we type in 8888F, and we start scrolling down here, it's not only bringing up items that start with 8888F with all of the ending variants on it there, but if you start to scroll down, you see 8888G, E, J, and all the other different variants that are close to it because they are close to the item number that we typed in. So let's use that exact match function and let's start to narrow that down a little bit. Now watch what happens. So now we've narrowed this to just these items here that only feature 8888F. So now you can narrow this down and really start to hone in and find exactly what you were looking for. So let's say hypothetically too that we were looking for the 8888F32D. With exact match off, you'll see that item come up to the top, but there's all these other variants with it too. And there's all these other related devices. If we flip it on, you're only returning the one result because that's the only item in the entire site that contains 8888F space 32D. Now what happens here if we're looking for this item but we forget to put that space in? That exact match feature is not going to return that back. So again, this is going to look at the exact characters that you type in and return that. If we take exact match off, it's still going to recognize the item that you're looking for. So you need to be exact when you're using this function here. So that's one way to find items that you're looking for. But oftentimes when you're working on a job or you have an idea of what you need, you don't necessarily have an item number in mind. You don't know exactly what you need. So in that case, what do? You have all these characteristics of, an exit device or a cylindrical lock or whatever that you need, but you don't necessarily know what manufacturer it is, or you just have all these attributes about what can fit there and what finish it needs to be and what function it needs to be, but we don't necessarily know what manufacturer or item number or whatever it's going to be. So let's click on catalog up here, and then we're going to click on products. We're going to utilize the product filter tool. Now, what this is it takes items on the site from a particular category or subcategory, and it starts to narrow down by attributes that you select so that you can take a situation that you're working with and narrow down over 1,000,000 items to find exactly what will fit the situation that you're working with. So let's go for an example here. So let's say that we're going to look for a cylindrical lock. So we're going to start to select a category here, and we're going to scroll down to lock cylinders, cores, and key blanks. Automatically, what that's going to do? It's going to return 665,397 lock cylinders, cores, and key blanks currently available on seclock.com. Now, let's say we want to select a subcategory here too, because we know that we need a cylindrical lock. Now, I want to note that you don't have to select anything here, but we'll just say for the purposes of this example, we know that we need a cylindrical lock. So that's taken that 665,000 items, and that's narrowed that down to 93,000. So already we've made a huge dent in what we're looking for here. Now, from here, there are two things that you can do. You can either use this search engine right here, which is called the item begins with search engine. And what this does is it returns items that only begin with the term that you type in. So for example, if we were looking for this item right here, the Schlage cylindrical lock, if we just happen to type in ND53PD, it would only return items that begin with that phrase right here. So only items that begin with ND53PD. It will not return any items that have a term in the middle or the end or anything like that. It's only items that begin with that. So let's X that out and we'll go back to our 93,000 results. Okay, so we're looking at lock cylinders, cores, and key blanks, and then we've narrowed down to the cylindrical lock subcategory. So we're looking at 93,263 cylindrical locks throughout seclock.com, which is still kind of a lot, right? So you're probably not going to find exactly what you're looking for here on the first page of 25 cylindrical locks, right? The odds probably aren't in your favor on that one. But here's what we can do. So let's look on the left side here. And here we have all of these product filters. And what these are attributes of all of the items that we've returned on this screen here. So all of the cylindrical locks have attributes here that we can choose to narrow with. So for example, let's say that we know we need a Yale lock. So we'll click on manufacturer, and we can either scroll down to Yale here, or we can just start typing Yale. And you'll notice that when we hit Yale, it automatically narrows all these results down. And now we're down to 4,295. So again, another huge chunk narrowed down. So let's keep going. So let's go back to our filters on the left side. And maybe we don't know exactly what series we need, but we do know that we need a 626 finish. So let's go ahead and scroll down to 626 in the finish filter, and you'll find it right here. So let's click on that. Now you'll see that we've narrowed down to 531. So we started with over 90,000 items, and in a matter of about 30 seconds, we're down to 531. So we're getting there, but we're not there quite yet. We just have a little more to go. So let's keep going down, and let's go and let's choose a function, because we know that this needs to be a classroom lock, hypothetically. So let's scroll down, and here's our classroom locks. So we're down to 53 when this wants to load here. There we go. Okay, so we're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. So let's say that we know that this needs to be a Monroe lever. So we're down to 15. Now, if we can't find it from these 15, we can narrow down just a little bit more, and we'll just say that it needs to be a Yale 6-pin. And then you'll see here, we're down to 3 results. So just by knowing the situation that we're presented with, we can narrow down all of these items, well over 1 million items on seclock.com, down to only the items that fit our exact situation in a matter of under a minute, which is incredibly useful if you don't know your series or your item number or anything like that. You just know what it needs to look like and what it needs to fit and what function it needs to be and all those sort of things. This is how you get there. So let's go back to the main page. So let's say, hypothetically, that we know that we came here looking for a Sargent exit device. So we'll go back to one of our 8888Fs, F32D. So we'll go back to that item that we looked at before. So we return the item here, and we're going to look at the product page now. So here is the product page on seclock.com. And I also want to note here that we're using a dummy account, so all these lists and costs are just for demo purposes. So here we're looking at a Sargent exit device, and this is the seclock.com product page. So let's go through step by step. Now that we know how to get to the product that we're finding, let's look at the product page and what we really want to explore here, just to make sure that we're looking at the right thing, and we'll see all the info that it presents to us. So first here we see our product title, and we see a brief description of the item here. You always see a high resolution image here if it's available. Now up in the top right, we see a few functions. We see a favorite function, compare, email, and print. Now the two on the right are pretty self-explanatory. You can email it to yourself or somebody else, or you can print this out if you'd like to have a paper copy of it. The first one here is where you can favorite an item. So if you click on this, it will show up in the favorites list in your account. So if you have items that you normally come here to look for, or if you have an item that you want to remember for later, you can click on that, it'll save it to your account. Here, you can add this to the compare feature. Now this compare feature is really powerful because you can compare any 2 or more items on the site at once. So let's click on that compare function. And you'll see here that there's a little green bar here below my body, behind my window here, that tells me that this has been added to our compare feature. And you'll see a little badge show up here. So what this lets us do is compare it to another item. So let's compare it to another 8888F. And let's compare it to this exit device. So we'll go to this product page, and we'll click compare here as well. And now you'll see that this has a 2 badge on it. So let's click on compare, and here you'll see side by side every single attribute for these 2 items, and you can add as many as you'd like, and it'll populate all the attributes that we have. So again, it's another way of comparing specs side by side, pricing, weights, dimensions, features, whatever you need, side by side in a very logical format. So let's click here, and we're going to go back to our 32D product page. So scrolling down a little bit, we have our list price and our cost. Again, dummy just for the purposes of this demo. We have our add to cart button here. Here's where we can change our quantities. Here is where you'll see real-time inventory all the time, 24 hours a day. On this particular unit, we have 87 in stock. And here, if you tap on the inventory button, it'll not only show you that we have 87 in stock, but it'll show you what we have in each of our 3 warehouses. So we have the warehouse here in Westwood, we have one in Chicago, and one in Las Vegas. And if you type in your zip code, so let's just say hypothetically that we want to ship to LA, It'll think for a sec, and it'll tell you what the estimated delivery time is for each one of those. So for here, the quickest delivery time will be shipping this out of our Nevada warehouse, and it would take approximately 1 business day to get there. So let's scroll down a little bit more. Here's some information on this series of exit devices, some top-level features, your manufacturer, what finish it is, and you can click on this to get a full finish chart, country of origin, and your ship weight. Let's scroll down a little further. So here's where you see all of your specs. This is your finish description, your package DIMMs, your device length, door materials. There are attributes and specs here that not only pertain to every item on the site, but some that are specific to exit devices and or the series that you're looking at. So for example, includes trim. This attribute here isn't on every item on the site. This is specific to exit devices. Up here you'll see a couple of tabs. So once you're done looking at the specs, you've verified that this does indeed match what you're looking for. We can click on details. Here you can see details on the Sargent 8800 series with a lot of top-level info on that series in case you'd like to read more about it. If you click on resources, this is where you see resources specific to the item and series that you're looking at. So we're talking instruction sheets, literature, parts lists, sell sheets. Sometimes there's catalogs. So here, let's say we open up instruction sheets. You can either click on this to load the PDF right in your window, or you can click this down arrow and it'll download a PDF copy right to your PC or Mac or whatever device you're working on. Let's scroll a little bit further down. You can do the same thing with literature, parts lists, sell sheets. Any resource that appears here, it's right at your disposal. Let's scroll down a little further. Here's where you can find your companion and similar items. So here, your companions, these are items that work well with the item that we're looking at here. So if you need a part, an accessory, something that fits into the general part that you're looking at, this is where you'll find them here. And you can view all of them, or you can just scroll through them here. Scrolling down a little bit more, these are similar items. So if for whatever reason the item that you're looking at is out of stock, or you just want to peruse and see what else we have to offer at different price points from different manufacturers, anything like that, this is where you'll find similar items here. And again, you can scroll through them, or you can click here to view all. Now let's go back up to the top. Let's say we know we probably want to add this to the cart, but we're not entirely sure. Maybe we have a question or something like that. This little red bubble down here, you click on that at any time, and you can chat with one of our technical service representatives. These are the most knowledgeable people in our industry, and they're here to help you. They respond almost immediately. So you can chat with them live on site. You don't need to leave the page. You can ask them a question about the item that you're looking at, about lead times, about pricing, about anything really, anything technical, anything account related. You go ahead and you'll be connected with a technical support rep that is going to help you quick and get you on your way. So let's say that we're pleased with this exit device and we're ready to roll with this thing. So let's click the Add to Cart button if we only want to buy one, and we'll add that to our cart. And you'll see a little window up here that says our item's been added. So here is our Sargent 8888F 32D exit device, and you'll see that our total is here with some top-level information about the item, again what we have in stock, the quantity that you're ordering, your total amount, and how much they are each. Now here you can continue shopping, you can view your cart, you can go to checkout, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you might also need these items. Now these are the companions that we just looked at. So if whatever reason you forgot to add a part, or you forgot to add just a random companion item, it'll remind you here that you may need this to work with this, you may need this to complete the part that you're looking at. So let's say that this is the only thing that we need. In this instance, we don't need any companions. Let's just go ahead and let's view our cart. Okay, so here's our cart. Now we have the item that we just added. Here's our subtotal here. And here we can change our quantity. We can save this as a quote. So we can save this to our account if we want to save it as a web quote, and that'll be saved in your account for later. Here, you can save this cart if you have, a bunch of items that you frequently order. You can save the cart into your account, and that'll make the process for you coming back much, much quicker because you don't have to add everything all over again. You'll have a cart saved right in your account. Here you can export this to a file on your PC or Mac or whatever device that you're working on, and you can click this to clear your card out. Let's say we got here and we forgot an item and we need to add something quickly. You can search for it here, or you can add the part number manually here. So let's say that we're all set to go. We don't need to add anything else. We're cool with our quantities. We're cool with the item here. We don't need to remove anything. We don't need to search for something. And again, you can see them come up right there. And if you click on any of those, it'll add it right in. So let's say we'll go ahead and check out. So here's the checkout screen. So this is where you will see all your billing information. You can type in a credit card here, verify your shipping information. You can say it's the same as your billing. You can enter a new address. And if you scroll down just a little bit more, you'll see the items on order here, again with the same summary that we saw. Again, you'll have another opportunity to edit your cart here and scroll back up. So let's say we're going to enter a PO here. So we're going to do ABC123, and we're going to ship it complete. And this is going to be the same as our billing address. In our phone, I'll just enter something here. And we won't go through with the whole order here. But all you do is click on Confirm Order, and you'll be processed to complete the conversion. Now I'm going to pull this up full screen here just for a second. I want to point out that we also have a window here to enter notes for your order right inside the billing box there in the top left. Now here you can type in, if you need to specify a keyway or anything like that, type that right in there and that note will be submitted with the order when it's processed. So that is the process from start to finish of looking for an item either via search, via the product filter, and going through the process of verifying what you need on the product page and going to checkout. It's extremely easy if you utilize the tools in front of you, and it's something that can be extremely useful in not only streamlining your first visit here, but if you use your saved cart function, your favorite item function, you can streamline future visits as well. Okay, so I think we have time for 2 or 3 questions here. So let's see what we have. Tim asks, can you demo adding an item to the cart from the cart page? So Tim, I think you mean, let's go back to it here. I think you mean this right here, and also this right here. So I'll explain this field here first. Here, you have to type in the number exactly, and this is especially useful for items that we don't necessarily list on the website. If you want to order something that's not a web item, you type the item in there exactly, and you can order it here. On this one, functions just like the search engine before. So if we type in 4040 XP, I'll blow that up so you can see it. So if you type in 4040 XP on this window, and you just click on any item that comes up, whichever one you need, it'll add it directly to the cart there. So I hope that answers your question. So here functions like the search engine, and here is an exact match type of search where you needed to type in that exact item number in order to add it. Next, we have a question from Jeff that says, where do the favorites go? So let's go to an item page here. So let's go back to our exit device from Sargent. So let's add this to our favorites. So we'll click on that star button up there, and it'll take a second, and then you'll have this green bar down here that shows that the favorite has been added. So now if you go into your account, and you click on favorites right here, and you'll also see it on the left menu here in your account page. These are all my favorite items, and the one I added is right here. So you can either click this to go back to the product page, or you can click View to bring up a little summary of the item down here, and then you can add it right to the cart. In addition, you can always remove items just by clicking that trash barrel, and you can remove it right there. I think we have time for one more. This is from Marianne. Is chat available on my iPhone? Yes. So the beauty of seclock.com is that it's responsive. So all of the features on seclock.com are available regardless of which device you're on. So if you go down to the chat window here, you're going to see the very same thing on your phone. That little red chat bubble appears on every device that you look at the website on. So that is phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, whatever. It responds, and I'll even show you here. And I think we did a similar thing on our last webinar. Watch how the menu changes. And you see how the site responds as I expand and contract. So that means that regardless of the window size, the website will rearrange the experience to meet something that fits the device that you're using. So in short, yes, chat is available. It functions exactly the same. So yeah, feel free to use it on the go. If you're like on the job and you're looking for some help, feel free to chat with us, and we can help you out almost immediately. So that I believe will do it for today. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us for the Searching and Buying webinar. We will have this on demand on seclock.com and on our YouTube page if you'd like to rewatch this again, or if you need to go through it or whatever. If you'd like to email us, feel free to shoot us a note at webinars@seclock.com. Again, if we didn't get to your question during the webinar today, we will be sending out emails today, tomorrow, for the rest of the week, really, until we find you the answer that you're looking for. So be on the lookout for that. In addition, I will email out a link to everyone that was on the webinar today with a link to this video on YouTube. So again, you can rewatch it at your leisure. So again, my name is Dan Zapula, Senior Web Content Manager here at SLD. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next webinar will be sometime in August, I believe. So be on the lookout for that. We'll post it live on seclock.com with the sign-up form as well, with a topic for that webinar. So again, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.